it is time for everybody's favorite segment, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week. Bronson Reed's attack on Seth Rollins was done to write him off TV due to injury. So this was sort of like with Chris Connor's argument with the Jacob Fatu thing. He's like, they announced it as an injury. And I'm like, yeah, the two they announced, Logan Paul and Jacob Fatu. And then the two they didn't announce and make a big deal out of is Dakota Kai and Seth Rollins. They're trying to bury these ones. Now, it seems as though Dakota Kai and Seth Rollins are both legit hurt. You know, Jacob and Logan aren't. It's what makes sense to me. I don't know. Anyways, though, Bronson Reed's attack was to write off Rollins. So Dave says, I asked if those were storyline covers for injuries. And I don't actually know who's saying this. It just says Wrestling Observer Radio. It might not even be Dave. I asked if those were storyline covers for injuries, and I was told they both were. Seth is not a bad situation. Seth is cleared. He could wrestle, but he's banged up. So it was a good time for him to take time off and do this. I don't know if he'll be back for the pay-per-view against Bronson Reed. Yeah, that's some Dave. No. Yeah, hopefully he's back. They're trying to say he has cracked ribs. I'm okay with it. I'm not. Yeah, dude, look at all these goddamn flutes. You guys are the best. I was asked if these storylines cover for injuries, and I was told they both were. So yeah, some of them are covering. They're working us. The ones WWE tells us about are the fake ones, and the ones that they don't tell us about are the real ones. I'm telling you. That's why Cole announced Jacob and all of that. But how about Bronson Reed? They put him over, made him look like $1 million. Seth, he's right there in the main picture now. Seth Rollins and Dakota Kai are reportedly both dealing with legit injuries. I don't know how serious, but I asked if those angles. Oh yeah, so this was him, but Seth is not a bad situation. Seth is cleared to wrestle, but except he's actually but he's banged up. So it was, a good time for him to take time off. I don't know if he'll be back for the pay-per-view against Bronson Reed. I don't know. I'm not going to shun him for that, but I believe it. I do believe that actually. So Dave's not that dumb. Here's Neckbeards with a post. And Dave Meltzer has compared the G1 Climax match between El Phantasmo and AEW's Konosuke Takeshita to WWE SummerSlam. What? You what?
You what?
Dave Meltzer continues to say it was something fierce. He realizes he overrates WWE something fierce. So Kurt Angle's actually 2-star matches and is actually so Dave goes, I'll tell you when I watched the match, like they're just on a different level. It was like when I was thinking about how good Monday's show Raw was, and it was a good Angle show. Now this is his new term, rest hold, Angle show. And some of the matches were good, and some of the matches at SummerSlam was good, and then I watched that match, and it's like, man, I overrate WWE something fierce. Because compared to this, they're not even the same thing. These guys were so incredible.
You mark!
Jesus. This is some weird, creepy, like bug crawled up in his brain or something. Yeah, I love both these guys too. LP's sweet. Konosuke's awesome. I don't know what the Dave's smoking, man. I mean, I'm not like, yeah, I'm sure their match, like with the moves and everything athletically was like way better in that aspect than like any Raw match, maybe, and I get it. So you like that a lot, but don't start saying you overrate WWE something fierce when you're given like 4-star matches. We're going to go over his star ratings. So Dave being a dummy. And yeah, speaking of his ratings, here is his star ratings for SummerSlam and Collision. Like, we're going to compare these. So he says, I overrate WWE something fierce. And it's like, okay, so I guess which wrestlers have had good matches lately, so they're all way below what you actually think, or what? We don't know what you're saying, Dave.
Tell us what you know, you goddamn liar!
So Dave Meltzer's SummerSlam star ratings: Liv Morgan and Rhea 3.5. I mean, I don't know. I don't care what his star ratings are. My rating on it, I'll give it like a 3.5. Yeah, maybe like a 3.5. Yeah, let's stick with that. That's a good rating. Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker 2.5. I just think that stage is so hot. You got to bump it, and like the story was decent. Maybe that's like a half-star story, maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to start breaking down star ratings, but okay. He gives Paul and LA Knight a 4 stars. Pretty I don't know if I'd even give it that, to be honest. Bailey, but we know Dave's 5 stars really means 7 stars or whatever, because who knows what they, maybe 8. Maybe when Kenny comes back it'll be an 8. Bailey versus Nia Jax got 2.5. Okay, I'm thinking back, whatever. Punk and Drew 3. Dave's just fucking mad at Punk, dude.
Emotional damage.
Dave's just mad at Punk. That's all that is. That match is brilliant storytelling. Priest versus Gunther. And then David go, well, they didn't do anything. Well, what didn't they do, though? They told a brilliant story with great visuals, great selling. But so they didn't do anything means moves. Well, no, I don't just judge on moves. That's what the defense will be. But that's what you always got to take it to, chat. I'm teaching you, okay? This is when these people go there, you just bring it back to like, no, you like moves. Well, no, it's not just that. Well, then how? Okay. They're telling these great, compelling stories, right? So then what is it that's missing the component? You just don't like that they didn't do a bunch of crazy moves then? And they can never refute that. They can't compute it because that's what it boils down to. It just boils down to like, okay, if you like move corn, sorry, YouTube, just say that, right? Which is fine. Hey, that's your thing, but don't try and say like that is on the same level of like a bloodline story or like a Punk, Drew, all this they've been doing. Like it doesn't beat that, and then every scientific physically measurable metric prove that, you know. But anyways, Damian Priest versus Gunther 4.25, nice. And then Rhodes versus Sikoa 4. Damn, I didn't think he'd give it that many stars, you know. So shout out Dave, I guess, for a couple of those. Now I swear this is like a psyop, right? Because Dave's sitting here going, boy, I really do rate WWE high. And it's like, you really don't. But then you look at this and you're like, man, he kind of rated this a little high, maybe, at least for Dave's standards is the thing. But it was one of the greatest SummerSlams of all time, in my opinion. Some people argue that. Hey, to each their own. So here's his rating, though, for this week's G1 Climax. Takeshita LP, 5 stars. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Gabe Kidd, 4 3/4 stars. Goto versus Finley, 4 3/4 stars. Shingo versus Sonata, 4. This was the greatest event ever. The most
Liar!
Oh my god.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
Oh my god, dude. I love it. Takeshita versus Goto, 4.5. Takeshita Hanare, 4.5. So he did double duty, dude. Shingo or unless there's 2 Takeshitas. Shingo versus SZJ. Yeah, so double duty. 4.5. MJF versus Fletcher, 4.5. This is on AEW. Danielson versus Jarrett, 4.5. OC and FTR versus Roddy, Roosh, and Mortis, 4.5. CMLL. Pac Romero versus Dorado and Volador, 4 3/4. MJF versus Templario, 4.25. Just, and like, what does he give these quarters out for? That's what's so funny about Dave. Like, Dave, what are the quarters for? Like, I can at least break it down. Like, I dox points for certain things. This is so funny to me, man. I get such douche cringe chills. You know that feeling? But like, I feed off that. I swear to God, because I got the biggest eating grin. This makes me laugh so hard. $14.99, please. Yeah, from Neckbeards. That's hilarious, man. Yeah, I'm trying to just wrap my head around like him saying, "Oh, I really so you give nothing to the stage, like you give nothing to it being for the WWE World Title and Cody being." Dave admitted it. He's John Cena. He's hit the John Cena numbers, and so Dave can't give like bonus points for that. I don't know. You know that doesn't factor into your star rating. And then he goes, "No, I've given matches I don't really like high star ratings. Why? Because the moves." They did cool moves, or because like it was super over, you know? I just don't get it. He makes no sense. So his star ratings, absolutely. That's hilarious. We're going to keep those over there. Dave Meltzer is responding to something in regards to the Olympics, because everyone's like, Dave, you're coping. You're lying about Raw and the Olympics.
Emotional.
Liar! Tell us what you know, you goddamn liar!
You're flip-flopping, putting a spin. That's what he always does. Disco clowns the quarter star things with his point. What are number? Yeah, exactly. So Meltzer says, I got a question for all the Big Brother fans.
You what?
What is he talking about? When the show went from 0.46 to 0.27 due to the Olympics, did fans of the other reality show whose number also dropped significantly start screaming at the Big Brother fans if they mentioned the Olympics as the reason for the drop? Which everyone in TV expected would happen going in.
The best guy's Tony Khan.
Shut up, bitch.
Like, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to say? I'm just gonna cuss. Dave, this is just stupid, okay? Everyone in TV, okay, yes, the Olympics, sports affect TV ratings. It's always the highest rated on cable. We covered it on this. Chris Connor was talking about it earlier. Covered it ad nauseum already. Everybody has. Beat it to death, okay, Dave? The thing is there's no other the fan of the other reality show. Name the reality show. First off, name it.
Own it.
Dummy. Yeah.
Like, you know, what else was on? What are you talking about? Two completely different things. Yes, the Big Brother was affected by the Olympics. So was Raw. Raw was on Sci-Fi, for Christ's sakes. But Dave, it's just your embellishment of the truth, or you're lying by omission, right? Which is still, if you embellish the truth or you omit things to paint a narrative, that is lying by omission. Those are still technically lying, and you're
Liar!
When you go, oh, AEW is really good or at least you're just being disingenuous. At least you're being a scumbag. Because what you're doing is you're omitting certain details. Like with AEW, you're like, oh, they're up and they actually did good numbers compared to if they weren't at the right time. And if they moved to this time, it would actually be a good number, but the number wasn't that good. But I'm just telling you why it still should be considered good. That's literally what you did. We covered it on the show. You can go back and hear me babble about it. But then with WWE, and we covered it earlier tonight with Raj Giri going at him on that ass. No Diddy. Raj says, okay, dude, you're not bringing up the Raw. I brought it up to everybody, pointed it out. Why aren't you bringing up the Raw? And all Dave can do is cope and seethe and go, got a question for all the Big Brother fans. Oh, 0 to the 0.46 to 0.27. What kind of games are we playing? What are the number one overall? Raw was beat the Olympics on the USA in the key demo. You didn't say anything about that, dude.
Nope.
And people are just tired of it. And that's why you raise the prices. That's why you're emailing old people who unsubscribed that you still have their email saved. And you emailed them all and said, hey, come back. You get Dave's UFC breakdowns. Who wants to hear Dave's UFC breakdown? Oh my God, dude. It's just the end times. I truly feel that way. Like, as far as what, Phil? As far as like the great awakening in pro wrestling. Either like everyone's going to wake up, or it's just going to like progressively get worse. I don't know. Dave's like hanging on by a thread. And like even his message board people are going at him, which we covered. So I got a question for you, Dave. What you going to do when PWT comes after you, and how you gonna react when the flutes come on the attack? That was Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week.